So the question asks us about basically a 110 gram ball and a 200 gram ball that is connected by a 34 centimeter long rigid rod. And these balls rotate about this center mass at 140 rotations per minute. So basically, this problem involves a few things. One of them is point masses, basically um, points that have a certain amount of mass. Um, Another thing that involves is the idea of center of mass, basically at what point is the mass equal on both sides? And the last thing that this type of question involves is the idea of rotational motion. Not anything going in a linear way, but something moving in basically a circle like this. So the question wants to know what the speed of the 110 gram ball is. And here I've drawn a picture of what the scenario should look like. It rotates about this specific axis, and it's 0.34 meters from one ball to the other. So we can solve this problem by summing the masses and distances, uh, and then we need to divide by mass down here. So um, we have to take a point as basically 0, which I take the 110 gram ball as, and I take another point, which is not 0, and this we know is 0.34 meters away from, because 34 centimeters is 0.34 meters, because that's how long the stick is. Remember, they're on a stick that is 34 centimeters apart. And basically, if we multiply the mass by the distance, which is 0 for the 0.11 kilogram ball and 0.34, and then we divide by the mass here, we can actually get how far the center of mass is away from this specified point. So we get the center of mass is 0.219 meters away from the smaller ball. So that's around here, a little closer to the larger ball. So we also know that this kind of system rotates at 140 rotations a minute. So this is something we're given, and we need to do a little bit of unit conversions or dimensional analysis in order to get meters a second. So here we basically can convert, putting 1 minute over 60 seconds here to get rotations a second. And then here we get radians per second. And then using what we learned before, right? Basically, this is one kind of radius. Uh, this little distance here of 0.219 is a radius, um, which is also 1 radian um, in this case. So we know 0.219 meters per 1 radian. So doing this uh, um, doing this sort of unit conversion, we are able to convert from radians per second to meters per second here. And we find out it is about 3.21 meters a second. So there are a few common mistakes that people make. For example, one of them is converting the units incorrectly. Dimensional analysis is a really big problem, and it's pretty easy to mess up. Another big problem here is realizing from where you must take the center of mass from. You have to realize that you basically have to set a point as like the starting distance. Here you'd have to pick one of the point masses, basically, and yeah. So you could also pick from the middle, but that would be a little bit harder. Um, so I picked the point mass because you don't know which way you need to go from the middle. Um, and yeah, these are two common mistakes that you should be careful of when solving these sorts of problems. Thank you.